Hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Since you're new to the site, maybe you're not totally new to me. Maybe you've read some of my books or something led you here. But since you're relatively new around here, I wanted to make kind of a quick video to just give you a little overview of what's up, of the things that I teach, the things I write about, what I'm going to write about in the articles that you'll get each Thursday, just to kind of start to share this understanding with you. So when I say this understanding, it's an understanding of what it means to be human, really. It's all a discussion about an exploration of what does it mean to be a human being, and specifically, where does our experience come from? What is this? What are all these thoughts that we're constantly thinking? Is all this emotion that we feel all the time, and why do we do these things that we do? And it's not an understanding that is just for understanding's sake. I mean, it can be. Maybe you're just insanely curious about life and the human condition, and you just want to kind of look at it from that perspective. If that's the case, that's awesome. That wasn't the case for me. For me, it was like, something's not working here. I was caught up in habits, caught up in addictions, things that just weren't serving me, feeling like I had so much weight on my shoulders all the time from all of these things around me, outside of me, and just that feeling of just carrying a lot of baggage around. And that's ultimately what led me to look in this direction of this bigger understanding of, well, where does all this baggage come from? Like, what is this human experience, and how can we come to understand it better? And what I found in that, it changed everything, really. It's an understanding of the fact that we human beings are clear and healthy and peaceful, and we have everything we want by nature. So that is the design. That's how we come with our factory settings. We just come into the world full of everything that we could ever want or need. That is who we are. And on top of that, perfection and wholeness and all of that, we have these brains that we were blessed to be born with, and we have this human experience full of lots of variety and lots of stuff, thank God, because that makes it really interesting. So on top of all that contentment and clarity and great stuff that everyone wants, we think a lot. And when I talk about thought and thinking, it's not just sentences in our heads. In fact, it's really not that very often at all. It's much, much bigger. Thought is how we come to have any experience in life. So as human beings, we have this default set point that is all good. We're resilient, and we have everything we need, and we're content, and things are good. And on top of that, we experience our own thinking. And our thinking is constantly moving. It's constantly coming through us and being brought to life within us in such a way that it's the most realistic, convincing, miraculous movie you will ever see. It is this kind of inner illusion in a sense, but it's a real illusion. It's us. It's how we're seeing life, and it really, really looks like when we look out our eyes and we look out here at stuff, we're seeing that stuff exactly as it is, but we aren't. That's part of the illusion. We're seeing our own thinking first, and through the thoughts and the emotions and the state of mind and wherever we are in that moment, that is what determines what we see and what we feel and ultimately what we experience. So the really cool thing, so thought, is constantly moving. It's coming to life within us. It's bringing all of our emotions to life. So whenever we feel something, it's brought to us, it's just that human experience brought to life within us that's flowing, but it's always moving. It's always being replaced. It's always being replenished, and we're always getting a do-over. We're getting these instant, constant do-overs in life. It's like our mind kind of self-corrects on its own constantly. But the thing is, when people don't understand that, and most people don't, how would we? We're never taught this. When we don't understand that, we make a whole lot out of what's on our mind in any given moment. So we not only feel whatever we feel, which is, it just is whatever's showing up is what's showing up, you get what you get. So we're not only just getting what we get, but we instantly, without realizing it, in a second, make a judgment about what we can think, what we got. We attach to it. We think it's us. We draw conclusions about it. We act based on it. This very beautiful, innocent, inherently neutral flow of human experience that passes through all of us all the time in a nanosecond, really, much faster than a second. Our human mind kind of grabs it and tells all kinds of stuff about it. And we're going to do that. That's what humans do. This is part of the human experience. So you're not going to hear me writing or talking about what to do differently. There aren't going to be a lot of strategies. There's not a lot of here's how you should do this behavior different, because frankly, that stuff all takes care of itself when people come to understand how this happens. Understanding how our human experience works is what takes care of everything. It kind of does a lot of the work for us, because when we understand something, we naturally see it differently. We naturally make different choices. So the way we can leverage this, we naturally will leverage our understanding about the human experience without having to do anything about it. It's like when you see something different, you just do differently, but most of us don't ever see anything different. It looks to us like life is coming at us from out there and we're a victim to it, or the things we think are really meaningful and true and important and we should hold on to them. It's just a lot of misunderstanding. So really what we're here to do is just kind of clear up some of that misunderstanding. And it's really, really incredible what happens when human beings, normal, everyday human beings like you and I, see a deeper understanding about how things work. It's like understanding anything, like sometimes we use the example of like a mechanic or a doctor. So if, a surgeon, let's say, if you're going to have surgery done, your surgeon can know all the steps of what to do. They can have a manual, they can have someone there telling them over their shoulder, okay, make this incision, get this out, stitch this up. They can follow the steps perfectly. And that's what a lot of self-help and just, more traditional therapy methods kind of do. It's a lot about our behavior. It's like, think this way, feel this way, do this way. Now, it can work to some extent, but it has a lot of limits. If your surgeon's manual catches on fire or his buddy has to go to the bathroom, he's going to be in there thinking, I don't have the bigger picture. I just know the steps. I know the pieces. But without the bigger understanding, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to suffer, like you, if you're on the table. So with a surgeon, let's say, that has a super deep and profound understanding of biology, not just of how to do surgery, but of biology, of how human life works, in the human body, in the physical body, and how everything works together. When there's a question, when there's an obstacle or a problem, he's going to have insights. He's going to have wisdom around that. He has a bigger perspective, basically, just a deeper understanding. So that's what we want to get. As human beings, we want to have that about how our mind works and how our life works and where our experience is coming from, because when we do, it changes everything. And it may not change everything in the outside world. It's not like when I came upon this understanding and started to see it more and more, a lot of my life looks like it's very much the same as it was, but I can tell you it feels completely different. It's easier. It's so much more meaningful. I get so much more joy out of the little things, and I spend so much less time ruminating and worrying and overthinking things that don't need to be overthunk. So the changes, are sometimes subtle, but they feel on the outside, but they feel very profound for the most part. Sometimes they feel subtle on the inside too. But one of the huge things that tends to happen is, a lot of our habits and addictions and things that we go to because we feel stuck in them, because we don't see a way to feel better, a better way to feel better. So we keep going to this kind of temporary fix that is really falling short. Those things tend to fall away with this understanding. And I'm really passionate about that because I've been stuck in several of those myself, and I write about them in my books. And so I love helping people see things in a new way and watching these little problems that we've been carrying around for years just kind of evaporate, because with that bigger understanding, you just see differently. There's just a foundation shift to see change. And a lot of old things that aren't serving you just don't really make sense anymore, so they don't stick around. So Thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really glad that you're here. I feel really privileged to get to visit your inbox and to share things with you. And please reach out anytime, because I'm really, really happy and excited, and I feel really blessed to help people get this understanding and see something that helps them. And I'm happy to do that anytime. So thank you, and thank you for being here.